In this episode, this is going to be the launch of a new project, and as you can see on screen right now, that's going to be the model Factory Hiro 12 scale Maserati 250F Streamliner. Very interesting vehicle from the 50s, used in one race, but anyways, let's get into it. Let's have a look in the box. Alright, so the usual instructions, we'll look at that later. Typical model Factory Hiro packaging, which, well, you'll see. Some resin parts, the nose cone, the rear section, a few other parts. Let's just get everything out of the box here. Photo etch. So get another little box. We'll have a look at that. And all the white metal bits. Yeah, that's how they package it. Another thing of white metal. All right. Let's get rid of this. All right, let's just get those to the side. We'll have a quick look at the instructions first. Pretty nice. They usually come packaged in a little sleeve to keep your documents in. Looks like we have a template for the seat. We got suede covering for the seat. That's gonna be quite nice. Put that over there. Typical instructions. Let's bring us in a little bit here. So typical model Factory Hiro instructions. Color table here. It's all Mr. Color callouts. Bit of a parts list. Just it's weird how they do this. They give you the parts listing for some of the turn parts and the miscellaneous little pieces, but not for anything else. You can find that all on the website though. Alright, so pretty nice instructions overall. Yeah, this one's an interesting one. You got full internals of the engine, pistons, rods, crank, main bearings, all that great stuff. Never see it again. Yeah, I guess it's there. You know you did it. Whatever. Yeah, so just first couple steps here going through the engine. Get the engine built up by step 5. Then we get on to, looks like the front subframe, front suspension. I wasn't really going to go through the instructions, but just give you a look at what's involved here. Their instructions are quite nice, actually. I like the way they lay things out. They could be a little bit bigger. Like have less stuff on per page and just have more pages. But it's all there and it's well laid out. You know, they show everything in different colors to help identify what you're actually working on and where you're gluing. Where I find it's kind of confusing sometimes is when they get into their rivets. It's hard to tell exactly which style they're talking about or that they're indicating for you to put on. So I find that can be a challenge, but you just sort of flip back and forth, see what style of rivets you have, and you'll eventually figure out which ones go where. So anyways, yeah, it all looks fairly straightforward. This is obviously a space frame chassis. So I will probably, when it comes to assemble all the space frame white metal parts, I'll solder all that together just to give it maximum rigidity, so the thing doesn't fall apart. Yeah, so it's looks straightforward. This one's going to be kind of cool because you build the whole bare chassis, and then the body basically is going to bolt around it. So, you know, I guess you could display the body separate from the chassis, and that would look pretty cool because you'd have a complete chassis at the end, especially this one being the Streamliner, so the body all comes off. And then you have the bare chassis, unlike the other versions of this car where you wouldn't necessarily have that opportunity. So, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't display it like that personally, but each their own. We'll see where we're going with it. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have a complete chassis 100% done, and then it's just body work and get that on at the end. Build up our wire wheels. Imagine those will be interesting to do. Looks like the hood latches are going to be functional. That'll be interesting to get to work. Yeah, and that's it. Fairly straightforward build. Doesn't look like much, but there's a lot of parts. It's interesting. Like I find, you see these two things of parts. It doesn't look like there's a lot there, but there's a ton of parts there. On the call out, I think there is over 300 white metal parts, and with unique part numbers. So a lot of that's got duplicates or triplicates, or, you know, in the case of rivets, there's hundreds of them. So anyways, it's a lot. All right, let's have a look inside this other little box here. What do we got here? Alright, we'll just stick that up there. So it looks like our suede. I'm just going to leave it in the bag. For the seat, looks like we got vacuum form windshield. We got the tires. Really nice detail on the tread. Really nice, actually. Very well molded. Rubber tires, front and rear. Looks like we got our turned aluminum wheels, all pre-drilled for the spokes, so that should be fairly straightforward to do. Looks like the main part of the body in resin. Then we got, what else we got here? We got the decals. Their decals can be okay, and they can be crap. So hopefully these ones are the okay ones. All right, and then there's another little bag. These are just, this is the miscellaneous stuff that they give you a list of what it is. Like there's all sorts of things, turned aluminum, the trumpets. Let's take this out. Let's have a look at what we got. This is pretty cool. The steering wheel comes in 3 pieces. So clear resin bottom part. I don't know if you can see it on here, but there we go. It's kind of hard to get it to focus, but it's got the you know, the finger grip slots molded into it for the backside, so that's pretty cool. So it'll assemble. This is the top part, again in clear resin or tinted resin, and then the center section of the steering wheel, which will get sandwiched between all this, which will make for a nice wooden looking steering wheel with the metal in between. That should be quite satisfying to build. That'll look nice. Nice little built-up assembly. All right, lots of screws holding these together. Screws, springs. Looks like the front springs. What else do we got here? Looks like we have some turned aluminum parts, a bunch of tube. No idea what it's for. other tubes, the air funnels for the carburetors. Quite nice. Bunch of other, no idea what those are for. They're not the spokes. I don't know what those are going to be for. Various rivets and whatnot, some heat shrink tubing, it looks like some nickel silver, some cord for the spark plugs. I think the clear tube is for building, it's for the wheel fixture, for building the wheels. We got a bag of spokes for the wheels. I imagine there's a few there to do. These will be all the ferrules for doing the wheels, for on the rim side. Looks like we got a few other little miscellaneous pieces here. Looks like we got clear lenses for the gauges, brass pipe for something. Who bloody well knows. Alright, I'm just gonna get this put away and I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so I got all the resin unpackaged, unbagged, and let's take a quick look at it. So it looks like this is the floor pan. Everything looks pretty good. Floor pan exhaust, no idea what the hell that is. Some intake or something. Looks like the pontoons for the rear of the chassis. The louvers that'll go into the side, which we saw earlier. Here's the main part of the body. This is, it's not the greatest. You know, you can see where the mold halves came together. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a pretty massive seam line there. Step, both sides same way. Easy to sand though. This resin's quite easy to work with in terms of sanding it and that sort of thing. It's horrible to work with to get paint to stick to. But for body working it, it's pretty good. And their resin casting's usually pretty nice, you know, except for this here. That'll be pretty easy to sand out, like I say, but I'm not seeing pinholes, bubbles, you know, tears in the mold anywhere. Little bit of flash on these sharp edges, but it's nice because they are sharp. These holes in the louvers, hopefully we can drill those out. It doesn't run into because it's pretty thick. Should be fine because those are open on the real car. So there's that, the nose cone. Very different look of this car. It's an unusual looking car. You know, Formula One, they did some weird things back in the day. I don't know what this fit's gonna be like. You know, looks like it'll be okay. It's, you know, it'll be workable. A little bit, you can see that the mold's sort of bowed out a bit. It's not a perfectly straight line. You probably can't see that, but the contours are about the same on both of them. A little bit of a step here, again. Nothing too bad to work with. You know, I'm currently working on my Porsche 917K, which I'm not quite sure if I'll have that video up before this one. But if I do and I'm at the bodywork section, yep, by the time you see this, you'll know why I say this isn't too bad to work with. The bodywork on that and the fit on that thing is requires a lot of work, so this shouldn't be too bad in comparison. So let's just get that out of there. I got the tail section here. One thing I noticed when I unpackaged it is yeah, she's a little bit broken there, and I saw another crack here, all through there. It's cracked here, through there, and we got a crack here, all the way here. But as you can see right now, like once I popped it all sort of back in where it was supposed to go, it all falls back into place. You know, you can barely see where those cracks are. So a little bit of CA glue in there would be good as new. So I haven't tried fitting this on the back. I think it fits here. Yeah, it looks like it'll just fit on there. So not much you got to really worry about on this kit. That's nice. It's just two little areas up front, two little areas on the back to get everything fitting right. I'd like to build this so that it would be possible to take it all apart again. Sometimes that's not the best approach, but I don't, my stuff, once I build something, and I've got it fully assembled, even if you can take stuff off of it again, I'd never do it. I don't see the point in it. I don't want to use the word play, but for lack of a better term, I don't play with my stuff once I'm finished building it. You know, if I want to panel open for display, that's the way I'll build it. That's my personal preference. So anyways, we'll have to figure out what we're going to do with this one. What's the best approach? But yeah, it's going to be a fairly... it's actually turning out a little bit bigger than I thought it would be. You know, for the era of Formula One cars, it's not that insignificant of a car. There, I can't get that to sit together. I got this nubbin on the bottom. If I put that there, let's see how big that is compared to the Porsche 917. You know, it's almost the same wheelbase. Interesting. You know, I'm lining up where the wheels would be. Line up the nose. It's actually longer than 917, but 917 is a small car. If anybody's seen one in real life, a 917 is almost smaller than a Porsche 914. So it's quite a small car. Anyways, yeah, so this is looking pretty good. I'm looking forward to getting into this thing. Alright, there's all that. I think we looked at these pieces. Look at those over there. This is the exhaust. This is interesting. The exhaust on the comes up through the body and then just sort of pokes up like a, I don't know, like a submarine periscope that's folded down. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, here's the seat. It looks quite nice. This will be all covered in that suede that we saw earlier. It's two-piece, so that'll be nice to get that covered in. So the transmission, two pieces to the transmission. They look like they fit up quite well. Maybe I'll get this zoomed in a little bit more. So yeah. No, it looks fairly nice overall so far. Not seeing anything of major concern, at least with the resin parts. Cylinder head, separate head, no individual valves, thank God. I don't see the point in the pistons and the valves. I guess if you're going to build the thing out of the car and apart, but I don't know. They do sell these engines separately, Model Factory Hiro, so if you do want to get just the engine kit, that's pretty cool actually. Then you can leave the head off and have the cylinders or the pistons exposed and whatnot, or have a piston sitting out there on the bench, whatever. I guess that'd be kind of cool. Anyways, sorry. Let's have a quick look at the photo etch, see what we get. Yeah, I just So, one thing I found with Model Factory Hiro is their photo etch is magnificent. It's kind of hard to show it to you with the glare, but super nice etching. Little Maserati, I don't know if you can really see that there, but super nice etching. Stainless steel, so it's fairly hard. Most of it, you know, not a ton of bending required, at least not curving. That's kind of nice. That's a little move there. Let's get that back over. This piece is quite thin. And then this other piece is considerably thicker. This is quite a substantial chunk of stainless here. Geez, what is that? That's got to be 0.75 mil. It's fairly thick. Okay, I'm a little off on my estimation, 0.28, 0.3 mil. Still fairly hefty chunk of metal to be etching. Really well done. They give you the option to use either the aluminum center that we saw earlier for the steering wheel or the photo etch one. I think the aluminum one is thicker and probably would be easier to sand with the resin attached to get that nice finish on the outside of the circumference of the wheel rather than the stainless. So anyways, yeah, really nice stuff. You can't see a damn thing I'm looking at. I'm showing you. Yeah, interesting. These are the leaf springs for the rear suspension, I believe. So that's pretty interesting. All right, let's get into the last thing. I'm gonna open these up. I gotta get it all sorted out anyways. That's why I'm doing this. I'm actually starting this. This isn't just a open the box, see what we got video. I can't stand those, to be honest with you, so I don't know why I'm doing this to the extent that I'm doing it. This is just more of the kickoff of the build of the video. Just show you how this stuff comes. For anybody unfamiliar with these kits, I got a few of these, so various different subjects, so probably see more than one on my channel here. I guess the drawback to building these models for, I'm not going to call, you know, like, yes, it's my YouTube channel, but I'm not shooting videos for, you know, like a build series. Although that's what it's going to kind of come across, but it's more just a video log of my build. You know, just showing you, giving you a glimpse of my process. Not really intended to do how-tos, anything like that. You know, I'll show you how I do stuff. And if people ask questions and they want to see a demo of me doing something, you know, fair enough. I'll do that. But my intent here is not to do, you know, blow by blow of me building this thing. Everybody wants to sit and watch me sand. I can pretty much guarantee that. But I will do a bunch of work and I'll come back, show you what I've done, talk about it a little bit, and yeah, it'll be interesting. So come along for the ride. Yeah, so like I say, they just throw it all in a bag here and then shrink wrap it or cellophane wrap it. Pretty much every single part gets bent. I don't think I've seen in any of the kits that I've opened straight white metal parts. So that's where the bulk of the work is straightening stuff out, getting it to fit. A lot of work spent there. As you can see on this one, there's going to be a lot of tube work because it's a birdcage chassis. So You know, there's gonna be a lot of work there. Nice thing about this stuff is you can solder it together, and it's super super rigid once and strong once you get it soldered together. So yeah, like you can see stuff like this. Like it's super nice casting, you know, and the detail is almost always really good. And this, like this piece is super thin, but it's a piece of licorice right now, right? Like, look at how bent and warped that is. So it'll take time bending this back into its proper shape, getting it to fit. This is the windshield cowl, so it's got to fit. Oh, there's some casting flash there, so I can't quite get it to fit down where it's supposed to. But, you know, it's just going to be a matter of being patient, working it into place, into its position, and bending it. Stuff's quite malleable, so, well, obviously, because it's all bent to crap in the bag. So it's, where I find it frustrating is stuff like this. This is the hood. And getting this bent back into shape. Like, look at that. That's, you know, that represents a lot of time fucking around with this to get it straight. You know, that being said, once it's in shape, it's quite nice. It's just, it would be nice if they protected this stuff a little bit better in the bag, but or in the packaging. But hey, what do you do? I guess it's my choice to build these things, so can't really complain about it too much, you know. All right, what else? So that's, yeah. What else do we have? Sorry, AMSR is also not my thing. I seem to be doing that. If you like that kind of thing, well, there you go. Yeah, lots of white metal on this one. Looks like the floor pan. This is the bulkhead for the fuel tanks. That's gonna be quite the assembly to build up. Exciting. It looks like it's going to be that one. And yeah, those two shapes are not the same, yet they're supposed to go together. Yeah, so lots of work, you know. I think that's the bulk of the work on building these things. You know, if it wasn't for fixing all this, these kits are actually quite straightforward to build. You know, there's a lot to them, but they're quite straightforward. Like, once you get the parts sorted and get everything fitting, you know, they're actually engineered quite well. The instructions are laid out really well. That's the other thing I've figured out is the order of assembly of the instructions is usually the best way to do it. And he designs it that way to be a natural progression of building up the model and eventually having the finished model at the other end. You got to watch it if you know, where you might need a sub-assembly together that's from a, you know, many steps forward, you know, in order to prep some pieces, let's say like, you know, the body on that 917 for one thing, for an example. You know, I need to have that all together right now to do the body work and get all those pieces fitting. And I need to do that now because my next step in where I am with the project is I need the inner tub, and I actually need to attach the engine to it. So I need to get that finished next. But if I finish that now and then I left the body work till later, like the instructions do say, I'd probably run into problems. So you just got a little bit of forethought on not necessarily the order of assembly, but the order of doing some of the work, you know. Like I won't have the body, all the stuff I have together right now that I just sort of, you saw, will all need to come back apart. It's all glued together right now with super glue. I'll need to debond it all and separate all the pieces. And then reassemble. Anyways, yeah, lots of parts. This is the top of the radiator. It's this is a brass casting on, or assembly. I don't know if it's cast or what it is, but it's brass on the real car, the top of the radiator, and it's polished, so that'll look pretty cool when you get that done and finished properly. Yeah, all the castings look quite nice. This I don't know, I'm just looking at everything, just getting a gauge, a feel for the quality of the molding. I suspect, looking at how clean all this is, and by clean I mean like the molds, there's no tear out apparent in the molds, so all the detail is crisp, like all these little bolts are nice and crisp. Oftentimes, you know, if it's a second issue, third issue, fourth issue of their kit, their molds get worn out and you'll start getting tear out in the molding because they're silicone molds, so then you'll get extra metal built up around, especially around details, like in these little sort of pockets. It'll just be filled with lumpy metal because part of the mold is missing. So I'm not seeing any evidence of that, which is really good. Like the 917 of mine is really bad for that. It's very obvious that the molds for that car are way overused. They're well past their prime. They should have been retired, made new ones many, probably reissues ago. I don't know how many times that kit's been reissued, but I think it's from like it's like 4 or 5 years old now, and probably been reissued 4 or 5 times. Second pallet of parts. Those look like they're going to be more of the smaller parts. So your brake drums. Camera's wanting to focus on everything underneath. Lots of detail on these. Quite nice. Splines on the hub where the wheel splines on. That's pretty tons of detail. Yeah, those are pretty nice. Yeah, looks like the magnetos. Sure. Stands, lots of little parts. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, where am I? Pretty sure that is not supposed to be like that. I think I could say with confidence that these two pieces are supposed to be parallel to each other, or probably not parallel. I think this is a control arm, so this is supposed to be an A arm. Yeah, lots of work. Yeah, this one's maybe a little more representative of what the part's supposed to look like. Yeah, lots of. One thing, they give you all the detail, that's for sure. You're not wanting any more. There's not really a whole lot more that required on these. I guess some guys go and do all the electrical wiring. I guess that's probably the one thing that they don't really include. No, that's not true. On some of the kits they do. Like if the back of the gauges are exposed, invisible, I think they do give you the wiring to wire those up. But in ECUs, if they got the big plugs, yeah, they usually do give you the electrical wiring. I don't think there's really much electrical on this thing. I don't think there's a battery in it. There's no lights. they're magneto ignition systems, so no idea how they started these things. But I don't think it had a battery, so there's probably not a whole lot to this. Everything would be mechanical. Probably a mechanical drive to the speed or to the tach, mechanical oil gauge, temperature gauge, that sort of thing. So, anyways, there's the brake backing plates. Wow, yeah. No, these are quite nice. The quality of the parts is really good. I'm glad to see that. These are the guys I wanted to see. A couple little DCOE Webers. A couple of side draft, probably 40s or 42s. I don't know how big this engine was. But we got 3 of them. That's pretty cool. I'm super looking forward to getting these assembled and detailed and painted. They'll look super nice, I think. Although the quality on these ones, you can see, this is what I was talking about. I don't know if you can see it there. You can see right where my thumbnail is pointing. There's a bit of sort of slag and buildup. You see how it's a little crusty along that surface? That's because the molds are degrading. So, my bet, the quality of the molding on these carburetors and the crispness of them isn't as good as some of the other parts I've seen. So, I would venture a guess that these molds for these carbs are used for other kits, and they're overused and they're getting worn out and they need to be replaced. But I don't know, they don't seem to like to replace their molds very often, so they pass the problem on to us. Which, that's the only really thing that bugs me about Model Factory Hiro. That and the packaging. Like, why all this shit has to be bent? Just do some better packaging, please. These are the cranks, wheels. These are the centers of the wheels, so these all need to get drilled out. That'll be fun, drilling all those holes for the spokes. Good times. Might have to make a jig and do it on the my little drill press. Brake pads, so it's a double leading shoe brake system, so that's pretty cool. You can tell because there's a wheel cylinder for each pad. They'll sit like this. Each end of the pad is anchored on a pivot. Wheel cylinder on the other end of each pad within each drum assembly, so they're both called, it's a twin leading shoe design. So this one will ramp up and this one will ramp this way, and as the drum turns, it pulls the shoes into the drum. Super effective drum brakes, actually. Yeah, what do we got here? Sorry, I'm just trying to see this myself. I don't know if you can see that on there. But there's lettering molded into the top of that, which is like super fine and extremely detailed. That's pretty remarkable. I have no idea what these are though. There's 3 of them. Or is there 4 of them? There's 4 of them. No idea. Anyways, it looks like it's our main bearing caps for the crank. Bunch of rivets. Bolt details. Yeah, very nice. Sorry. If you've turned off the video by now, I wouldn't blame you. Yeah, this one's got a bit of... Yeah, this one's got a bit of issues. That'll be an interesting one to figure out. Sorry, I'm just trying to find something to point with. You can see, hopefully we can see, right, these lines here. Those aren't lines, they're actually raised parts where the mold's torn. So the metal has gone into the tear of the mold. Again, that's it just indicated the molds are worn out. They've been used too many times. This is, you know, just barely starting. The rest of the detail looks really good on there, so it shouldn't be too bad. I should be able to gently remove those. Gently remove it. Anyways, yeah. More parts. They give you two different, so they give you a jig for the front and the rear wheels, one for each. They didn't try to make like an adapter so you could do the both wheels with one jig, which is kind of nice. It actually means you can work on, have two wheels set up at the same time, so that's good. Looks like we got some more. Yeah, that looks like it would be the clutch. The bell housing. This is clutch is on the engine, obviously. The bell housing is on the engine, and the transmission's in the back with the differential transaxle, 1955. Oil pan, valve cover, yeah, valve covers. Let's have a look at how nice these ones are. Cam covers, I guess, in this case. Yeah, those look pretty good. Not gonna lie. It'll look nice painted up. A little bit of yeah, a little bit of tearing in there on the mold, but not bad. Other one is good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. That'll look nice built up. Detail painted. Some thingamabobs. Look like they're probably the shock actuator arms. I think this thing's got, oh, that's probably what these round things are. Rotary dampers, that's what they are. More or less a dash pot. Used for dampers instead of linear, like we see on cars today. Tube shocks, which are linear. These are rotor. Looks like the front of the engine. Magneto mounts there. Various bits and bobs. Two of those. Whatever the heck they are. Looks like it's part of the suspension or hub. Engine. Let's see how this is looking. Not bad. Quite a bit of flash here. A little bit of cleanup, but the molding itself doesn't look, yeah, it's a little pitted. All this here is pitting in here. Which is not ideal. I don't know how visible the side of the engine is on this thing. This will be the exhaust side, I think. I think this is the back of the engine here. I think this is the front. So this would be the exhaust side, so the pipes will be coming out here. So not really going to see that. So the bottom of the engine, bottom of the pan, go here. whichever way it goes, that way. Yeah. Should be all right. It'll go there. This will go this way. Sure. And all these crank rods, you haven't seen the rods and the pistons yet. They'll all be inside here. Just between you and me, we'll know they're in there. Nobody else will know though. Maybe they won't be in there. We'll see. Although they don't look too difficult. You know, it's just 10 minutes of work just to throw them in there. Just to say we did it. You know, it's a shame because, you know, I quite like that. It's pretty cool. Little tiny rods. Yeah. There we go. No idea what the hell that is. Bunch of pipes. This, yeah. Yeah, I think there's a meme about this. You know. But you know, I give them a hard time. This stuff, it's, you know, it's a piece of licorice right now, but this stuff's pretty easy to straighten out and to get straight and look good. So it's not all bad. Various little bits and bobs, cables, whatever the hell that is. Bunch of little levers. These look like the hood lock levers that we saw earlier that are gonna work. I don't know if that's focusing or not, or if it's still just focused on my frickin' hand. Focus, you. Anyways. Drive shaft. Yeah, lots of piping on this. Lots of little fine fiddly pipe work. So, yeah, it'll be interesting though. Another fun fact, here's the, I'm assuming that's the gas pedal. So the pedals are backwards on this car. So the shifter is on the right hand side where it's supposed to be. The gas pedal is on the left hand side. The brake is on the right hand side, and so is the clutch. Go figure. I don't know. Maserati went out of business, went bankrupt a few times. Not saying that's what caused it, but hey. Yeah, so that's about it. Oh, maybe this is a gas pedal and the other one's a brake. Oh no, this would be the brake. Got the clevises for the master cylinder rods, twin master cylinders. Gauges, yeah. All in all, it looks like a pretty decent little kit. Some valve stems. I think these are the air bleed trumpets for the carburetors, for the metering rods. Yeah, so anyways, that's about it. That is all the parts. I'll check in before I get too carried away here. I've been just working on, I've got all the parts cleaned up, ran them through my magnetic tumbler just with dishwashing soap. I just find that cleans the metal really well. It doesn't really do much for, you know, getting rid of mold lines, parting lines or whatnot, although it does knock them down a bit. They'll still need some work there, but it gets all the crap off it. I don't know what they use for mold release, but it's horrible stuff. And your fingers just go black handling the parts before you clean it, but after you clean it, it's actually, you know, they don't really get your hands too dirty anymore. So that's kind of nice. Anyway, so I've done all that. I've cleaned everything, including the resin. Small resin bits, I'll run them through whatever will fit my tumbler, I'll clean in my tumbler. it doesn't hurt the resin. I put, you know, like I say, anything will fit in there. I put it in there and it won't damage it. I won't put the resin parts in with the metal parts. Just I always do the resin by themselves, and it helps clean that up. The bigger pieces, I just I fill the sink up with hot soapy water, and I wet sand them in the sink. So I'll take some 600 grit sponge and I'll just sand it as I'm cleaning it in the soapy water, and then give everything a good rinse, and that seems to take care of getting everything clean at least. So anyways, yeah, I've been sitting here. You'll see I don't really have a whole lot of parts left, although there's a bunch of the bigger stuff out of the view here. This is kind of all I got left for the small bits that you can see around. I've gone through the first 6 steps, which is more or less the engine. As you can see, we got these 2 assemblies built up. Actually, steps 1 to 6 are these assemblies here. So what I do now to do this, I sort everything out by step. So I'm on step 8, so then I just start looking for all the parts associated with that step, find them, lay them out, and mark them off. So what are we looking for? We are looking for, that looks like it's, I don't know if you can read that, I'm pretty far away. Anyways, I just look at the picture, find the part, match it up. That one's looking the closest to that. What else is this calling for here? This one here. You know, it's kind of like doing a jigsaw puzzle. Is your sort of just matching up parts and laying them out. So I got those 2. Those look like the ones, so I will cross those out. Not cross them out, I just highlight them once I found them. Move those to the side. I'm over here. So the front sway bar, which let's see, yeah, it's a bit of a piece of licorice here. It's also got one end link on it and one off it, so I don't know if that broke in the tumbler or what, but here is the other piece, so that's easy to fix. So I got those. That's this one. Again, mark it off. It's a bit of a tedious process, but you know, the first one, step 1, is the hardest because you got a pile of stuff here. As you get down, it obviously gets easier, so this isn't going too bad. M2 and M1. No. There they are. So it looks like those 2. We'll put that there. Those 2. Those 2. And this guy. The right one? Yeah. So it looks like everything for step 8. I'm going to combine step 9 in this bag as well. Just because there's not a whole lot of parts for each step, so. What else we got here? You gotta watch it, they just sneak in one part on a picture, so you just gotta watch for that. That looks like this one. Yeah. And we got that one. Yep. Looks like that one. I got all those. The photo etch, I don't do it this time. I'll put the resin in the bags with it. It's part of that step, but not. I won't cut up the photo etch and put it in the bag. So here we got a radiator, top and bottom. This through hole thingy. I think that's it. No idea why that has an S on it. Ah, Streamliner, I bet. And the cap. The rad cap. Where the fuck do you think that is? Right there. Yep. So, rad cap, top, middle, bottom. That looks like we got there's that thing. That one. We need 2 of the rotary dampers, 2 of those. And 4 of them 3. Yeah, so nothing's labeled. Like none of the, I shouldn't say nothing, some of them are. Some of them they'll have a marking on the pour block of what it is. Not usually the actual parts, they just do that for on the rivets. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? I don't know. It says AL2 on it to help identify the different style of rivets and nuts and bolts and so forth. So anyways, that is those 2. All right, so that's everything that's for those 2 steps. So then I just have a bag, which I just label what steps they are. I like the freezer bags because they're more heavy duty. I don't like reusing the bags that everything came packed in because they often have little holes rubbed in them. So I just shove all that in there, got it all off, seal it up. And the parts for that step or steps are ready to go. So just rinse and repeat for the rest of them. All right, and you do not need to watch that. All right, we'll come back in the next step. All right, so there we go. We got everything, had a nice look through the box, got everything clean, sorted, and ready to go. So next episode, episode 2 of this project of the Maserati build, we'll get into a little bit of the dry fitting, pre-assembly strategy around how I approach Model Factory Hiro kits. So stay tuned, and thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.